Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we cover all things Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we do a new character every week. This week, we're going to be talking about Lockjaw, and I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
And I'm Steven.
Hello, gentlemen. It is just the three of us today. Brandon has to stay late for work, so he will not be able to join us. But I'd like to thank you two for joining me today. How are the two of you? How are you doing today, Brad?
I'm doing fine.
That's good to hear. How about you, Steven?
Making dinner for the next couple of days.
Oh, that's good. I myself just finished eating dinner with my with she who tolerates living with me and my in-law. So it's been a nice evening. But
Oh no, we lost Fred already.
I'm still no new.
Fred,
Wait, really?
yes, you're cutting out big time.
Oh no, really?
Yes.
Uh-oh. Okay. How do I sound now?
Better now.
Okay. Well, crap. Everyone out there, if I cut out, I will switch back over to my phone. Okay, so let's talk about some AMG stuff. There's no news, still no news from AMG, but we have some upcoming tournaments that we can talk about. Coming up later this month, actually later this week, there's going to be the January BECC tournament at Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. I myself will be attending, as will Brad. Hopefully, quite a few people will be there. Are we still at 16?
Yes.
I think. Okay. So, 4-rounder. So, if anyone wants to come down and play 4 games, please come down. We have plenty more spaces. Then coming up later in January on the 25th is a tournament at Fabricators Forge in Pittsburgh. That is run by Bryce, and he always runs a really good event, so I also really like their space. So everyone who is in that general vicinity, head on down to that event, please. Then later on in March, on the 15th, is the Akron Brew Brawl, which will be the final BECC qualifier. So you've only got 2 more before the qualifiers are complete. So everyone get in your games while you can. All right. So that's all for upcoming events that I am aware of. Let's talk about games that we've played recently, shall we?
Sure.
I played 2 games recently, and I know Steven has played some games. Brad, did you play any games other than the one that you and I played?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm just asking. So here's how we'll do it. I'll talk about my game with Borka, then Steven can talk about his game, one of his games, and then you can talk about our game. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. I played a game against Borka. I was playing Web Warriors versus his Cabal. We were playing at 17 threat because it was Infinity Formula and it was oh crap, I forget what the extract was. Well, it was Alien Ship. I remember now. It was Alien Ship, and it never triggered. That's why I didn't even think about it. But this game was a game where Borka's dice failed him miserably. He could have won this game had his dice been average, and they were not. At one point, he made 2 attacks against Black Cat and did a grand total of 1 damage. So it was just an unfortunate circumstance. I was playing Miles Morales, Black Cat, Spectacular Spider-Man, and Namor, and one other model, which I can't think of right now. Oh, Ghost Spider. I was playing Ghost Spider. And Borka was playing Red Skull 3. He did not play Ultron, I don't think. Uh, oh my goodness, I can't even remember what he was playing in this game. But this was a game that I won. I won it. I think the final score was 16-14 or 13, and that's just how Web Warriors always win games, by squeaking out ahead of their opponent. And I was able to stay alive for long enough to actually do that. That was my takeaway from this game. Okay, Steven, why
Yeah.
don't you talk about your first game?
Our first game, I was playing against Robbie, who was doing a Criminal Syndicate, Daredevil, Shadowlands. Um, and we were playing on Gamma and Spider Infected. What I remember from his roster, it was Daredevil, Sin, Killmonger, Bullseye. There's another four in there. I can't remember who it was, though, so please forgive me. We were playing at 17, and then I was playing Green Goblin, um, Sandman, Lizard, Mysterio, and Doctor Octopus, the 3-threat version. And it got out of hand pretty quick. So Mysterio was the hero of the game. Got to the middle, got to the middle of the middle gamma, and proceeded to do things that were not nice in putting people out to pasture with his little attacks.
Moving them off of the gamma,
Yeah,
so they take extra damage.
yeah. Grand Illusion was big too in that game. So it was. We called it like after round 3 because I was ahead. Like Sandman had gotten onto his back point. I did a play where I didn't bring the second grunt in, and I just used one grunt to like teleport all over the place. So that worked out pretty well. Sandman hitting people who are size 2 and they just fly away because he was moving people too that way. So, and of course, Lizard with his tail whip. So, like I said, it turned out pretty good for me.
Yeah, you've got a lot of displacement in that list.
Yeah,
like a heck of a lot.
It was like 14-5 by round 3. It was bad.
Oh boy.
yeah. So we called it there, and I gave Robbie some advice like don't run Gamma with Daredevil, even though I know it's a tight fight and he likes to do the re-rolls. So
I mean, I would usually think that would be an okay thing to do is play Daredevil on Gamma. But is that just not where he wants to play?
Well, he didn't have anybody who had any movement tech, like moves or pushes or throws or anything like that to get people off the points. So I think that's one consideration for his list.
You were playing scenario while he was playing attrition.
Well, no, he was trying to play scenario too. Another big play that came in was that Green Goblin and Doc Ock did well laid plans because there are 5 points. So I mean, it was pretty big. And then Sinister Traps always comes into play. So
right.
So it was pretty. Like I said, the game plan kind of fell into my favor. So, and by the score, you can see it was kind of a runaway by the time we decided to call it. So, Mysterio, Grand Illusion, all the stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, good on you and good on Spider-Foes. I'm glad to see you're having some success.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'll ask you that after this. Brad, do you want to talk about our game?
So it was New Mutants versus Web Warriors. And I had a new piece in my list that best 5 in the game for my list. I put in there so that I could play Cable more often because it just works out for points. I tried very hard not to play the list I ended up playing, but Brandon insisted that it was the right thing, so I played it, and then I lost really bad. So, and then Fred agreed with me that the other ones I was looking at seemed like they were better. So
I do agree with you.
I played Magic and Emma, which were going to get played anyway because I was going into Web Warriors. And then the rest of the list was Cable because I was trying to play Cable more, even though Cable's not that great into Web Warriors. He's fine. And then Sentinel.
As in the prime, the
Prime
Sentinel
Prime Sentinel.
Yeah.
Which I still think is the right choice for the list in general, but not into Web Warriors. Fred played some Spider People. Fred kicked my butt. I did realize at one point that it was Cable. It was a B. Infinity Formula. I had Cable and Magic on one side, and I had Emma and the Sentinel on the other. If I had switched Magic and Emma, on both sides, I had a way to keep Fred from moving my models because he just can't move the Sentinel. And then Emma has a superpower to prevent people from getting moved. So I could have kept her or Cable or both, depending on how much he had. I also made a mistake at one point. I chased Spider Woman, who had an extract with Magic, taking Magic off the point, and I would have been much better off attacking the Scarlet Spider with 1 health that had an extract on the point and stayed on the point myself. So that was a mistake. I don't think that would have changed the game at all. I think Fred still had the win. The Sentinel wasn't bad, but this was not the matchup to really highlight how good he was going to be.
Right. I didn't. He's right. I don't have an answer to the Sentinel. The Sentinel, like, I can't move it, and if he sits down on a point, I can't destroy him. He's gonna be there until the end of the game. So I just played around him.
Yeah.
And I kept the Sentinel and Emma Frost both staggered the entire game.
I think they got 2 activations like once or twice during the game.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
I played in this game. It was also 17 points. I played Miles Morales. I played Spectacular Spider-Man, Black Cat, and then Spider Woman and Scarlet Spider. And I really like this list. It's just Scarlet Spider is kind of an underperformer because he does Spider Web Warrior stuff for 4 threat when I have other Web Warriors doing Web Warrior stuff for 3 threat. So I don't know. I do like him a lot, and he does do work on the table. It's just he could be Gwenom, or he could be. Although in this matchup, Gwenom would have been a terrible match. I think that Cable would have destroyed her. But still, this game went very well for me. Also, I'm really liking Web Warriors. Okay, well, so those were our games. Steven, do you have another game you want to talk about?
Yeah. I also played against Gilberto, and he was running Kingpin Criminals, and we were on Intrusions and Scrolls at 20 points. He took Kingpin, of course, Abomination, Beta Ray Bill, Black Hat, and who was his last one? Oh, Elektra.
Ooh, okay.
And then I countered with Green Goblin, Ghost Rider, Mysterio, Venom, and Electro.
Okay.
And I have to say, in this game, that this was another one where Gilberto was trying to find out what his list could do because he was just running Abomination to figure out what his playstyle was. And Abomination did do well. He got to a turn where he's like, I could play all according to plan, but he wanted to see what would happen if he didn't. So it was one of those games, but um, it was quite the back and forth. Mysterio actually really shines on this scenario quite a bit. So putting him, Venom, Electro, and Goblin, or excuse me, and Ghost Rider in the middle, not Goblin. Goblin was off on one of my flanks. Presents a very, very unique little knot. So, like, if you move in, Electro does his thing to do chip damage. Mysterio can do his thing to do chip damage. Venom's there to bodyguard for anybody who's going to get taken off, and then Ghost Rider explodes the crits. So that middle point was very, very hard for him to crack. So
Yeah, gosh. That's like a Gordian knot of models that you've set on the middle point there.
right. And then what I think a good play that saved me was that I played the Grand Illusion on turn 2. So anybody who was coming in there just was really, really ineffective. Ghost Rider did a lot of work. He took out Black Cat and Elektra on one side, and then Mysterio teleported through and took out Bill on the other side. Elektra woke up, took out Ghost Rider, and then I took Ghost Rider off. And Mysterio was still healthy, so I took Mysterio off because the end of the game. And then Goblin was flipped, and he took out Abomination. So that left only Elektra and Kingpin left. So at that point in time, we called the game. So, Intrusions is very, very good for spider foes, especially if you got a little Mysterio using his little legs to get to the middle and then cause havoc. So, but I wasn't too impressed by Electro. So I think I'm taking him out of my list, and I've got to find somebody who's going to take his place.
So having played quite a bit of Electro, like he either feels incredible or he does nothing. And the question is, which one is it? What kind of game is it going to be? And I found he more often did not do a whole lot on the table.
Right now, his mobility is great, but he has to give up an extract if he does his mobility right.
That's the thing. That's the thing, and you don't want to drop an extract, especially within spider foes.
Or you just cheat and keep it.
Now, in the game that you are referencing, I did undo that in a way that was essentially correct, and you ended up winning that game because of it too. I remember that.
Yeah, out of my painted models, I might put one of the. I'm looking at Hela quite a bit for that, because if I get a central like that again and it's 5 points, I could put somebody like Hela in, and if Mysterio has the Grand Illusion up and somebody's bleeding, they won't count their crits and they won't count their wild in defense results when she hits them with her big attack.
Okay.
And plus, she has a little new power where she advances short and rolls 4 dice, and crit and wilds will drain their health, and she will take that health and heal herself. So it seems pretty good. Plus, she brings a mystic attack in.
Right. Which you well, you've got Mysterio, but yes.
Yeah. versatile. So we'll see.
Okay, interesting. All right, well, those are the games that we played recently. Um, let's move on to Brad's trivia game. Hey, Brad,
Yeah,
do you have a trivia game for me to play?
I sure do. So here's how, this is your first episode of the show and you've never heard us do trivia before, this is how it works. I asked Fred some comics trivia about characters who are represented in the game of MCP. Fred knows very little about the comics, almost nothing. So he tries to guess who the character is. If he gets it right with the first hint, he gets 3 points. If he gets it right with the second hint, he gets 2 points. If he has to ask Steven for help, and Steven gets it right, he gets 1 point. Fred needs 6 points to win. Let's begin. Overhearing that Mr. Fantastic is hunting down the Infinity Gems, this character forms a team of new Avengers and sets off to find the gems. Already having the Mind Gem, which increases this character's intelligence, this character's Avengers team find the Time Gem in the Savage Land, which is a valley in Antarctica where dinosaurs still roam, and the Space Stone in the past in the stomach of a Giganto, a whale-like creature with arms and legs that lives on the bottom of the sea. They collect some others, and the last stone, the Power Stone, they find at the White House in possession of Bo, the president's dog. They use the stones to trap Thanos in an alternate dimension after he comes looking for the stones and return them to Mr. Fantastic, who is quite surprised.
Oh boy, there's so much there. Okay, so the person that I'm trying to determine is the person who goes on this journey, who created a new team of Avengers that found all that, who did all that stuff.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So they're an Avenger, maybe. And they have the Mind Stone that makes them smart. So who has the Mind Stone in this game? It would help if I knew who had the Mind Stone in this game. My guess is going to be Doctor Strange. I'm going to guess Doctor Strange.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
Your hint. This character was sent to keep an eye on Miss Marvel shortly after she starts her superhero career. This character teams up with Miss Marvel to fight the Inventor, a human cockatiel hybrid clone of Thomas Edison. During the
What the heck?
During the X-Men versus Inhumans event, this character was taken out by Phantom X while this character was napping.
What the heck? Okay.
Do you not know about the Inventor, a human cockatiel hybrid clone of Thomas Edison?
No, I don't. Is he a tremendous villain?
He gets killed in his first appearance, I think.
Oh, okay.
He's like this ongoing like background villain for like several issues, and then like he reveals himself finally. I think he dies in the same issue.
Okay.
But he's kind of
right.
great.
Okay, so who would have looked after Miss Marvel and then teams up with her? Is it Captain Marvel? That's my guess.
That is incorrect.
Ah, poop. Okay.
Okay, Steven, do you know who this is?
I don't, but my guess would be Vision.
That is incorrect. This is Lockjaw.
What? Okay, hold on. Brad, I'm going to call this out. In the past, 5 episodes, your first one has been the person we've been doing.
Okay.
Is this a trend that you've been doing
I'm going to have to stop now because you finally figured it out.
I did not want to do, that's been the same thing for a while. I didn't want to...
I was trying to see how long it would take you.
Okay, well, I got there.
Okay, so Lockjaw forms the Pet Avengers, which I'll be talking about a little bit later in the podcast. So the big clue there, I didn't say who else had the Infinity Stones, but the fact that the president's dog had an
Yeah,
Infinity
that was a dead
Stone, I
giveaway.
thought was a pretty big clue.
It
Also,
was. I didn't
also
catch it.
in the X-Men versus Inhuman events, Phantom X, which is not a character you know, but has an X in it, so he's associated with the X-Men. That means this character had to be an Inhuman.
Right.
Because X-Men versus
And
Inhumans.
yep, yep,
Also, Miss Marvel and Inhuman, unfortunately.
yep.
Okay. So 0 points so far. You're doing great, Fred. You should have just
Mm-hmm.
used the fact that you had caught on and guessed Lockjaw, got your 3 points. After this character died saving his people's messiah, this character's friends enter the afterlife and fight through multiple hells looking for him to bring him back. It turns out this character actually went to heaven and is happy, but comes back to life anyway, creating a new body made of hell maggots.
Made of hell maggots. Holy crap. Okay, so the what I want to say is not the answer because the character is not an MCP, and that is Exodus. Because I know that he is very much has a messiah that he is bound to, but he is not in the game yet, so he cannot be the answer. And who creates a body made out of hell maggots?
That is what I said.
And they're in heaven, which is abnormal. Which they, is this gonna be? Is this gonna be? Oh heavens! He died trying to save his Messiah, his people's Messiah.
Yeah, his people's Messiah.
Who is his people? Who has Messiah? Is I have no clue. I have no clue. So what people could it be that have a Messiah that he saves? It's not going to be a thrall because there aren't any in the game. I'm genuinely lost here. So I'm gonna just guess someone who would maybe be the person. I'm gonna guess an Inhuman. What is a male Inhuman other than I'm gonna guess Black Bolt.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
This character once went through the process of becoming an ordained Catholic priest, but that was all a trick to install a mutant as pope in some sort of plan to end the world or at least get people to hate mutants more. It's kind of unclear what the plan was.
Okay. Is this Kurt Wagner Nightcrawler?
That is correct.
Okay.
For 2 points. You had the right Messiah when you had Exodus.
I realized that the moment that you started this one off with
Yeah.
so the Messiah's hope, right?
Yes, yeah. You had the right Messiah.
Yeah.
He
and the correct power set or similar power set.
as
Exodus? Like teleportation?
Exodus doesn't teleport.
Does he not?
No.
I thought he did.
He's a telepath and telekinetic.
Oh, okay. Then never mind.
Okay. Oh yeah. They were told by some bad guys that Kurt Wagner was stuck in hell, and so they went to go find him, and the bad guy was just lying. All right.
Was the bad guy Mephisto?
No. I don't remember.
Okay.
Okay. Your final question. Loki was once trapped as a tree until someone would shed a tear for him. This character accidentally frees Loki when a leaf pokes this character in the eye.
Okay, so Is this Thor?
No. The
Okay.
brother of Sif. This character first gained renown when he spotted an invading giant army while they are still many leagues from Asgard. This character also once took over ruling Asgard while Odin slept, but was exiled by a coup that tried to wake Odin with Loki's soul inserted.
Okay. Is this? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Is this Idris Elba? What is his name?
I can
Why
assure you
why can
it's
I not?
not the actor Idris Elba, who is not
Yeah, but
represented in the game of Marvel Crisis
why can I
Protocol.
not think of this character's name?
Who
Who's?
who he played in the Thor movies?
Yes.
Heimdall. He played
Listen,
Heimdall.
I'm having Heimdall. Is this Heimdall?
It is Heimdall.
Okay, because he saw something. He spotted them a long way away.
Yeah, I was hoping that him being blind in the movies was going to keep you from guessing that correctly.
I know, but I know about Heimdall in like the far-seeing eyes of Heimdall,
Yeah.
like outside of the movies, just because of
Yeah.
Norse mythology.
Uh-huh. It really makes me wonder if the story of Loki being a tree and poking Heimdall in the eye with a leaf is part of actual Norse mythology or not. I really
crap, it
hope it
might be.
is. I really hope
That
it
would
is,
be
'cause that's a great
that'd be
story.
pretty. Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so Fred, you have 4 points. So,
Yeah.
for 2 points, what do these characters have in common?
Okay, we have Lockjaw, we have Heimdall, and we have the second one. Dad got it.
Every time.
Dad got it. Who was the second one again? I got it correct. It was Kurt Wagner. It was Kurt Wagner.
Yeah.
They all have the ability to place other characters using either a superpower or a team tactics card.
I'll take that.
That's correct. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah.
Is that not what you had?
I had a more general. They can all place or teleport.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That's correct. So Fred, you got your 6 points and you win. Good job.
Yay. Okay. I won one. All right. Well, thank you, Brad. Now that that's out of the way, I guess that it is time that we talk about the person that we are here to talk about today. That person being Lockjaw, otherwise known as Lockjaw, because he's a dog. He is a threat value. Oh, why am I doing it that way? He has 6 stamina on his front side and 5 stamina on his back side. He has a movement speed of slow. He has a size value of 3. He has a threat value of 3, and his defenses are 3, 3, and 3. Hey, Brad, why don't you do his attacks and his
Okay.
first superpower?
I normally only do the attacks, Fred.
Yeah, I know, but I'm giving you some extra because there's not a whole lot of attacks.
His first and only attack is physical, range 2, 4 dice, cost 0, gain power equal to damage dealt, wild bleed after attack is resolved. His first superpower is active. It's drop it. It costs 3. Choose an interactive terrain feature size 3 or less within range 2 and throw it medium. The superpower can be used once per turn.
Okay, Steven, why don't you finish off the card?
All right, we have an active superpower called interdimensional bloodhound, not national, dimensional. Costs 3 power. Choose an enemy character. Allied characters roll 1 additional attack dice when targeting the chosen character with attacks this round. His next active superpower is teleport. It will cost you 2 power and an action. Choose this character or another allied character within 3 of it and place it within 3 of its current position. A character can be placed by the superpower only once per turn. And then he has 3 innates. His first innate is Inhuman. This character may reroll 1 die in its attack or defense rolls. Next innate is Who's a Good Boy. At the start of this character's activation, each of this character's activations. If there's another allied character within 2 of it, this character gains 3 power. And last, he is immune to poison.
Okay, so that is the entirety of the card for Lockjaw, and also he's on a medium base. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure he's
Yes.
on a medium base. Yeah, so that slow move is not that debilitating. Um, yeah, he is a tech piece, and he's a very specific tech piece, and his stock almost certainly dropped enormously once Man Thing hits the table. Um, what are your first thoughts looking at this card, Steven? What does this guy do for you?
Sits on a back point, and then
Yeah.
uh, teleports people who have been misplaced by throws, pushes, or advances.
Yeah, and that's it
Yep, probably.
for this 3 threat model. uh, yeah, I feel like the development space has just moved past what this guy does to the extent that there's a character that does most of what he does um better than him and has actual table presence, can be a threat to other models, which he can, which Lockjaw probably will never be because he's very much like Wong. He has only 1 attack, and it is a range 2 4 dice physical attack. Um, but Wong is a threat value of 2, while this guy's a threat value of 3, which is a pretty substantial change.
The other
Um,
thing, the other thing I like to add is that he can make your other pieces more threatening, though.
That's true. That's like interdimensional bloodhound. Is it exactly the same as Craven the Hunter's ability?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing, which means you can do it if you've got the power for it. You can do it to multiple characters. You could do it
Right.
to like 2 or 3 enemy models if you've got 9 power to do it, which is nice. That's a nice place to be. It's I and it is very good. You just have to have the power to do it.
And you would have to be activating him first.
Correct. Which you probably don't want to do. Yeah. I really feel like hey Brad, I haven't asked you. What are your thoughts here on Bloodhound on Lockjaw?
So I think, as you said, Fred, I think that his development is very early on. Like he very much suffers from being an earlier model.
Mhm.
That being said, he still seems pretty good. In faction, I think Man Thing is the end of him being splashed, because he was
Mhm.
splashed a lot before now.
There was a period of time where he was splashed with Malekith,
Yeah.
and it was a degenerate list where you could throw Malekith way far up the table. That's partially why Malekith got the big debuffs that he got.
Yes.
Oh, any kaiju, really.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, any kaiju, this guy can throw up the table.
He does get the teleport early in the game much easier than Man Thing, if that's important, because he can get the extra 3 power that can just
Mm-hmm.
then he could spend it to teleport.
When does the 3 power come in? Is it at the beginning of his activation?
Yeah, at the beginning of his activation.
So he could do it round 1.
Yes.
He can teleport round 1.
He can teleport someone round 1. Man Thing cannot. And I think in faction he's still really good. I think the Inhumans really benefit from the extra die from International Bloodhound. I think they can
You did it too. You said international.
interdimensional Bloodhound. Yeah. That they can use a teleport for someone like Black Bolt or a splash, and that might get even better with the new Inhumans coming out. And I think he provides a lot of power to spread out to your other characters in faction with the leadership.
Yes, there he is. That's
Yeah.
probably the best. That and
He
like
is
he is your battery.
he's very much a battery, and he doesn't rely on dice to do it at all. Now, speaking of that, every time I've seen Lockjaw, it's like there's been a point in the game where it's like I'll bite someone because I have nothing better to do. Days KO, whatever. Every time, his bite is nasty.
We also have to say his play went down considerably when advanced R&D went out of the game.
Yeah, he could advance R&D like nobody else.
That's true.
He's also got a throw. Like he's got a
He
pretty
does.
good kit. It just needs some tweaks to be more modernized.
Like he needs a spender.
A spender would be good. That's probably the biggest thing, right? If he
If
had
he
a
had just like a weak little spender that cost 2 power and is 6 dice, physical,
yeah, and places
it would
the
help him a lot.
on a wild or a wild hit or something like that, places the enemy model 2 from itself.
Okay, yeah, that would be great. That'd be fantastic, actually.
Maybe that costs 3, whatever. Like give him a cool spender, turn his car sideways. He's cool. I think
If they were to do that, I think that he would be valuable
yeah.
on the table.
Yeah.
I don't think he's valuable right now.
Only
No, I mean,
in
like he has
Inhumans.
places. Yeah, in humans, yes.
Inhumans.
But even then, like I will say this: I have not played
Cabal.
against Inhumans very much. I have never seen this person on the table. Either like I've never played against him.
Cabal could be fun with new Red Skull. Because Red Skull
So you can throw forward with 2 models.
you can move 2 models forward, and Red Skull can always use his power the rest of the game to fuel his stuff.
That's true. That's true. There's another thing that Lockjaw has that we have to talk about. He does have a very powerful card, a very powerful tactics card. That card is called Last Minute Save. It is an unaffiliated reactive tactics card. When another allied character within range 3 of an allied Lockjaw would be KO'd by an enemy effect, Lockjaw may spend 3 power to play this card. The allied character removes 1 damage, is not KO'd, and is placed within range 1 of Lockjaw. That's a good card.
This is a great card.
That's a good card.
This is another reason why I think he is not dead. Like, he's not out of the meta. He's just restricted. The first turn teleport and last minute save, both great pieces of tech.
They are indeed great pieces. Like, do you ever bring him without this card? I don't think you do. This card is
probably
auto
not.
include.
It's really good.
It is. If you are playing Lockjaw, you are playing this card.
Unless you're going against Mystique and Emma Frost and a Brotherhood.
Yeah. That is the one corner case where you don't do it because they both like you're correct. That's the one place you don't do it. Everywhere else in the game, if you're playing Lockjaw, you will want to play this card because you will probably, unless you're playing against Web Warriors or something that doesn't hit much, you will probably have a model be KO'd. And if you can make your opponent spend another action or another 2 actions to actually KO a model when they think they're about to KO them, that is a huge increase in investment.
And you might get an activation with that model in between.
Right. Yeah. This is an amazing card. If it were on a better model, it would be too good. And it would probably have been restricted. But it's not. This is not a restricted card because Lockjaw is as limited as he is. Okay. Does anyone have anything else to say about Lockjaw? I mean, honestly, I feel like we're kind of rushing through him, but there's not a whole lot to talk about here with this guy, right?
Right.
All right,
He's
let's give this
he's
guy a
very
letter.
straightforward.
He's very straightforward. Let's give this guy a letter grade. So, like I said, I feel like the design space has moved past what this guy does. I mean, everything he does is good. He's just a support piece, and like he's not going to be doing a whole lot for you other than the support that he's supposed to do. And the problem is that he's a 3 threat model who's fully a support piece. And in the current meta of the game, I don't know if you can waste 3 threat on just support. His support is good, and sometimes game breaking if you tie him up with a kaiju. But like they've been trying their best to make that less effective, and it still might bite you in the butt. So I'm gonna give this guy a pretty low score. I'm gonna give him a C minus. He does get play in humans, but that's it. I think. I think that's the only place you play him. Okay, Steven, what letter grade are you going to give to Lockjaw?
Well, that card that he brings is pretty good, so I'm actually going to bump him up to C plus
Okay, okay,
because
that's
he is the best boy.
he is the best boy. All right, Brad, what are you gonna give to Lockjaw?
Okay, so before Man Thing, I think I would have given him an A.
By your rubric of they get
Yeah,
splashed,
I
therefore
have
it's
kind
good.
of abandoned that because the game has moved beyond splashing
Yeah,
characters a lot. But
I think that this guy being like an A is incorrect. I feel like that
I
is.
think he would have been an A before Man Thing kind of lowered him. So I'm gonna knock off a whole letter grade, give him a B instead.
I still think that's way too high.
No, his tech
Okay.
is still really good.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Okay. All right. Well, that's our take on Lockjaw. Now, I always do this. I forget to say what affiliations he's in. He's only in Inhumans. That is the only affiliation that has Lockjaw. Yep. Okay. Well, that is it for
Well,
Lockjaw.
are you wanting to place him anywhere? See where he would fit outside of affiliation?
Yeah, I do. I was gonna ask you that after I asked Brad
Oh,
uh,
okay. Never
about
mind.
his comic book recommendations for Lockjaw.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Hey, Brad, what comic books feature this goodest of boys, Lockjaw?
Cabal. All
Thank you,
right,
Brad.
Pet
Helpful.
Avengers. This is by Chris Eliopoulos, Ig Guerra, and Colleen Coover. Lockjaw assembles a group of animal Avengers to hunt down the Infinity Stones and defeat Thanos. The other Avengers are, hold on, Throg, a frog that's a Thor, Lockheed the Dragon, Redwing, the Falcon sidekick of Falcon, Devil Dinosaur, a red Tyrannosaurus Rex, Zabu, a saber-toothed tiger, Hairball the cat, and Miss Lion, Aunt May's dog that has no powers at all. It's
Miss Lion, just a
just a
dog.
yippy little dog. And there are 2 sequels to this comic if you like it. So there's more out there that you can enjoy.
I have a question.
Yes,
Is there any form of dialogue in these comic books at all? Like, or is it
absolutely.
just
Absolutely.
okay?
They talk to
Can
each
they?
other.
Okay, the animals talk to each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a way, that's a little disappointing.
So
I mean,
funny you should ask that, Fred. because my next recommendation is Marvel Mutts, which is an Infinity comic, which means you can only read it on the Marvel Unlimited app by Mackenzie Cadenhead and Takeshi Mirazawa. These comics might have zero dialogue. I think in this particular one, Miss Marvel talks at the beginning of the first issue a little bit because she adopts a new dog named Mittens. But there are a bunch of comics there on Marvel Unlimited that are like this one. Like there's a Jeff the Baby Land Shark comic. There's a Marvel Meow comic about the cats in the Marvel universe. There's an Alligator Loki comic. There's a bunch of different ones. And they are usually they have no dialogue. None. Not even the humans speak in the comic.
That's fun. I'm all for it. I love it.
So I know like Jeff the Baby Land Shark, I'm 99.9% sure not a single issue of that comic has any dialogue at all. The comic's great. All right, so this one, Marvel Mutts. So Mittens, who I just mentioned was Miss Marvel's new dog, teams up with Lockjaw, Lucky the Pizza Dog, Cosmo, which is the dog the Russians sent to space who now has telepathic and telekinetic powers, and and Bats the Ghost Hound. They all team up for a universe-spanning adventure. So they end up all over the place. They end up in Asgard. They end up in the collector's stuff. They end up with the Game Master, I think. All over the universe. They end up in nowhere. That's an important one.
Is that the floating head?
Yeah,
Is that the head in space?
It's the head of a celestial.
Okay.
Yeah, where the Guardians of the Galaxy live.
Okay.
So this comic and the other comics like them, like the Alligator Loki comic, all those, these are fun comics. They're very quick reads. There's usually one or two that come out every week. I think Fridays normally. Just very, very fun comics. So
Okay then. Those sound. I like them better that there's as little dialogue as possible.
yeah, usually none. Not even the humans. But like the Marvel Meow often features Chewie, who people may know as Goose from the movies. It's Captain Marvel's cat. I guess when they made the movie, they didn't want the Star Wars reference, because in the comics she names her cat after Chewbacca, names it Chewie. Gambit has a bunch of cats. Black Cat has a cat or two or three, I don't remember, that show up. There's a spider cat that shows up sometimes. Oh, one of the Unlimited comics. They haven't done one of these in a while, but there's like 5 issues of Spider-Bot, and it's about a Spider-Man robot thingy. It goes on a little adventure on its own.
All right. Well, those sound like a lot of fun.
Yeah, you just have to buy Marvel Unlimited, and you get access to all of them.
There you go, everyone. Go out there and buy Marvel Unlimited.
Not sponsored, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yet, one can always dream. All right, Steven, do you have an affiliation where you think Lockjaw would fit where he is not currently affiliated?
Well, I would say you would have to have a lot of fun with this character. Maybe Shadowland's Daredevil, because he does get a reroll. cravens in criminals, so you could do the double craven, double interdimensional bloodhound and make them hit a lot harder.
You could double up on them because it's a differently named superpower.
Right. And then if you get some characters in there that start doing rerolls and they're rerolling skulls and adding 2 dice, that seems pretty good.
Okay, that's pretty killy.
Yeah, so like let's say somebody who's a little pillow fisted, Mysterio, with his 4 dice builder, all of a sudden it's a 6 dice builder.
Yeah,
So
a lot better.
that might get dangerous really, really quick.
Yeah.
Or even spider foes where they make you re-roll 1 dice in the defense. So anywhere Craven is. Craven probably would like to have Lockjaw as a pet.
He probably would.
He'd
Except
probably
Lockjaw
hunt
would
him
hate
down and kill him.
Yeah.
No, well, he wouldn't kill him because he's unique. So Craven doesn't always kill.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know anything about the actual storyline.
That's all right. No, but no, it would be fun to double up on that and do it for funsies, and I don't think it'd be so seriously competitive, but yeah, and then teleporting people around.
Always useful. All right. Well, thank you, Stephen. I guess the only thing that's left is my non sequitur recommendation. So, obviously, I don't know anything about Lockjaw. I don't think has he ever been portrayed in anything other than, I guess there was an Inhuman show.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'm doing. This guy has some big old jowls. Do you know who else has some big old jowls? It would really help if I had the guy's name immediately available to me, and it just slipped right out of my head. It just slipped right out of my head. The movie that I'm going to recommend is Walter Matthau. That's his name. The movie that I'm going to recommend is the original Taking of Pelham 123, a movie I watched relatively recently because it is on Tubi right now. This is a 70s crime drama movie that is very good. It's extremely taut. It's very well paced, and it has Walter Matthau being comic relief, but also the anchor around which the entire movie moves, and he's great in it. This movie is a fantastic 70s crime drama. It's about a group of criminals that take over a train in New York City. And if that doesn't make any sense, that's what everyone keeps saying throughout the entire movie. It doesn't make any sense. Why are they doing it this way? It's a great movie. Everyone should watch it. That is the Taking of Pelham 123. And that is it for our podcast today.
I got one more thing.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Stephen.
For the future, the far future, maybe, when the Fantastic Four comes out, if they do not have a team up card with the Thing and Lockjaw, I will be so disappointed.
Are they known to team up?
Thing and Lockjaw are like they're buddies.
Okay.
Because when the Fantastic Four used to go to the moon to visit the Inhumans, Lockjaw and Thing were like tied at the hip.
Okay. I know nothing about either one of these. They go to the moon to visit the Inhumans?
Yeah, the Inhumans, they start on an island in the Atlantic, and then they move the whole island up to the dark side of the moon in what's called the blue area, which is a section that the Kree had filled with technology and has an atmosphere and a bunch of old Kree tech, and the Watcher lives there.
Oh, man.
But Brad, do you know the reference I'm talking about with the Thing in Lockjaw?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now, I haven't read a
My
lot of Inhuman comics for obvious reasons.
I picked that up because I read a lot of the Fantastic Four when I was younger.
I also have not read very much Fantastic Four.
True. Okay, cool. There's hope because Tiger's coming out. So
Tiber's coming out?
Tigra.
Tigra. Is that a member of the Fantastic Four?
Well, she's been known to associate with them. She Hulk's out too. So I mean, she
She
replaced Ben
was a
Grimm on the
member.
Fantastic.
In fact, we have a complete set of Fantastic Four models in the game already. They were all a team together.
Who are those, Brad?
Wolverine, Spider-Man, Hulk, Ghost Rider.
Okay. When you said Hulk, did you mean She-Hulk or do you mean
No,
Hulk?
I mean Hulk. It was Grey
Okay.
Hulk, but close enough.
Okay.
Great Hulk. Close enough.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining me today, and thank you for listening to me talk about Lockjaw. I hope that everyone out there has a wonderful rest of the week. Goodbye.